Welcome back to Let's Get Cooking. It's been a while, but I'm back, y'all. It's fall, and I'm about to show you how to make this pumpkin bundt cake. Let's get ready to bake. For this recipe, I'll be using a 15-ounce can of pure pumpkin and all the spices. So I'll be using cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves. I'll be using some eggs, some sour cream, butter, oil, baking powder, baking soda, of course, flour, regular sugar, and dark brown sugar. And anything else we'll add in, I'll let you know. Heads up, this is a very delicious cake. You can also interchange it with sweet potatoes. So if you don't have the pumpkin, don't want to use pumpkin, you can also use sweet potatoes. So I'm going to get started by mixing my dry ingredients, and that is 3 cups of flour along with a pinch of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and I'm going to mix that in a bowl with my spices. I'm using 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. I'm going to mix that good with a whisk and set it aside. Now, what I would say as far as your spices go, I like the typical fall spices, cinnamon, nutmeg. You can use cloves. Some people use ginger, allspice. You can use a pumpkin pie spice if you like. So any of those are interchangeable depending on what you have in your cabinets. You just want to make sure there's a good amount so that flavor comes through. Now that I'm done mixing my dry ingredients, I'm going to set them to the side. I want to use the same bowl, so I just put the dry ingredients in a different bowl. And now I'm mixing in my butter, sugar, and oils together. 1 stick of butter, make sure it's softened, and 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup to 1 1/4 cup of dark brown sugar. And we're going to mix that for a couple of minutes and then add in 1/2 cup of oil. I just added in that 1/2 cup of oil, and I want to make sure this is combined very well. So now I have the butter, the sugars, and that 1/2 cup of oil. Got a couple chunks of dark brown sugar, but I'll just keep mixing and they will just incorporate into the batter. Okay, everything looks good and combined there. You see it turned a little bit pale. That's how you know it's mixed well. The sugars, the butter, and the oil. Now I'm adding in 2 eggs, and I'm using jumbo eggs for this recipe because that just adds a little bit more moisture. I think the larger the eggs are, the better, and you want to make sure those are at room temperature. So I'm using 2 jumbo eggs. And after each egg, I'm just going to mix just for a couple of seconds, and we're going to move on to adding in the rest of our ingredients. So as you can see, I put in some vanilla. If you've been baking with me for a while, you've been watching the channel, I love vanilla extract. So vanilla extract can go in almost all my baked goods. Almost all of them. So I'm gonna put about 2 teaspoons, 1 to 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And I'm just eyeing that into my bowl, and I'm going to mix all of that together. So at this point we have the butter, the sugar, the eggs, and our vanilla extract. Next I'll be adding in that 1/2 cup of sour cream, and we want the sour cream at room temperature. Anytime you're baking, you want to make sure all your ingredients are at room temperature. I'm using sour cream to ensure that I have a moist cake, not a dry cake, not a dense cake, but a moist cake. And you also can use whole milk or cream cheese. Those just add moisture into your cake. So once I mix this all together, then I'll be adding in that final ingredient, and that is the canned pumpkin. And as I said before, if you don't like pumpkin, you don't prefer pumpkin, and you have some sweet potatoes, you just want to bake 2 or 3 sweet potatoes and smash those up. Take about 2 cups of mashed sweet potatoes, and you can put those in place of the pumpkin. Make sure they're cool. Ooh wee, that looks good. That looks like a pumpkin pie slash cake. You see that nice deep orange color. Everything is mixed well. Everything is combined. And now we're going to add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. But I'm going to do a little backwards today. I'm going to add the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients only because my dry ingredients are in the bigger bowl. All right, while I'm mixing my wet and dry ingredients together, let's leave something in the comments. What's your favorite cake? What's your favorite fall cake or fall dessert? Doesn't have to be a cake. Do you prefer pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie? Do you prefer a pumpkin cake or a sweet potato cake? Let's drop that in the comments. I love sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes, but I do appreciate pumpkins also. And this is a delicious cake. So for this one, I'm going to go pumpkins, but I'll also be making a sweet potato pound cake coming up. Okay, now that both my ingredients are in the bowl, I have my dry and wet ingredients in the bowl. I'm going to start mixing. I'm going to start off by using a hand mixer. Then I'm going to finish it off by hand. Do not ever want to overmix a cake batter because that will make it tough, that will make it dry, and that will make it dense. So not to overmix, I'm going to start off with my hand mixer just for a minute or so and then go and finish it off by hand. Now normally you will be adding the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients, but because my bowls were different in size, I had to reverse it. So I'm doing a little bit backwards, but we're going to get the same effect. We're going to get there. If I didn't say it earlier, I'm baking this on 340 for 50 minutes to an hour. You want to check anywhere between 50 minutes to an hour depending on your oven. I grease my Bundt pan liberally. Just use some cooking spray and some flour. Make sure it is liberal. There's plenty in there so your cake will come out. And I'm just spooning in my cake batter into my Bundt pan and preparing it for the oven. I did preheat my oven before I started even mixing the cake batter. 340 for 50 minutes to an hour. Mine was ready at about 55 minutes. I'm so glad fall is here. It gets me back in the mood of cooking and baking for the holidays. So we're getting a jump start with this pumpkin bundt cake right here. It is very, very much a fall dessert. Maybe I'll follow this up with a sweet potato pound cake just to have something out there for you all if you want to use it for your Thanksgiving dinner, your Thanksgiving meal, anytime during the season. You'll have the pumpkin option and you'll have the sweet potato option. All right, once I get all my cake batter, my pumpkin cake batter in the pan, then it'll be ready to just go ahead and pop in that oven. And it really doesn't take too long. It doesn't take as long as a pound cake. You want to level everything out just to make sure that it bakes evenly. Then on to the oven it goes. We literally have to put the icing on the cake. While that's baking in the oven, I am going to make a nice maple glaze, a maple brown butter glaze. So I'm melting 2 tablespoons of butter and I'm going to let that cook until it gets brown. So it's going to cook probably for about 3 to 4 minutes, and I want to have that little amber brown color, and that's just making it a brown butter. Then to a bowl, I'm taking actually about 4 tablespoons of softened cream cheese. I'm doing a butter cream cheese glaze. So this is about 4 tablespoons of softened, you want it soft, softened cream cheese. I'm going to mix this by hand. 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. I'm going to add in some vanilla extract, about 1 teaspoon to 2, and some maple extract. So you can get maple extract in the store, especially during this time of the season. So it's about a teaspoon of vanilla extract and about a good teaspoon of that maple extract. Then I'm just going to go ahead and mix all these ingredients in the bowl, the cream cheese, the powdered sugar, and the extracts. And then I'm going to add in that melted brown butter. Once again, that was 2 tablespoons of melted brown butter. And because everything is soft and we have the liquid from the extracts, it combines very well. I can do this with a whisk. It only takes about 5 minutes to have this glaze completed. The one thing I will do the next time is I probably will double the recipe, because the family really liked this glaze, and so they would have liked a little bit more. But it was a perfect complement to the pumpkin cake, this maple brown butter glaze. It was really, really good. Oh, then I am going to add in, I forgot, just about 2 to 3 teaspoons of milk, just to get it to that consistency that I wanted. It was fine, but it was a little bit too thick, and I just wanted it to just flow on the cake. So I added in about 3 tablespoons of milk. And you'll see once I lift the whisk, the consistency that I was going after. Alright, we are in the home stretch. I'm checking the oven, see if my cake is ready. And it looks like it is. And I just tested by putting like just a knife down the middle, make sure it comes out dry with nothing on it. And took it out the oven. Want to let it cool in the Bundt pan for about 10 minutes before I flip it out onto my cake plate. Then I'm going to let it cool for about 30 minutes before I add on the icing, the glaze, so that it won't just melt all over the place, so it'll still be neat. So here is the cake. It came out the pan. Don't mind those little marks. That's just from the flour that was just mixed in with the oil in the Bundt pan. So it just left those little marks. But we're going to cover that up with this delicious glaze. So don't worry, don't worry. All right, it's time to go ahead and ice in this cake. Now I'm cheating because I just use a sandwich bag. I put the icing in the sandwich bag, cut a little hole at the tip, and look, we have a whole little decorating situation going on. So that's the easiest way to ice in a bundt cake if you don't have a pastry bag and all of that extra. You can just use a sandwich bag, put your icing, your glaze in that bag, cut a little hole at the tip, and just go around the cake back and forth until it's all on there. These are my quick decorating skills. And if you don't even want to do all that, you can just take a spoon and drizzle all that glaze on the cake with the spoon right from the top and just let it flow on down the cake. So it's many ways to do this. Well, I'm so excited. Thanks for coming in the kitchen. Thanks for baking with me today. Today we made this pumpkin bundt cake with the maple brown butter glaze. Oh my goodness, it's so delicious. Make sure you bake this for your family, your friends, or just yourself. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Definitely subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Go back. I have quite a few videos of food and just different baked goods. And I'll be adding some more coming up this fall and winter season. So I look forward to you tuning back in. Thank you for watching. And until next time, you have a blessed day and a blessed week. I'll see you in the next video.